The Song of Achilles Deluxe Edition by Madeline Miller. Plot Summary. Edition Note. This deluxe edition includes elegant stenciled edges, gold foil accents, map of Homeric Greece, character guide to gods and mortals, reflective essays by Madeline Miller, and thought-provoking discussion questions that enrich the reading experience. 1. Introduction. A Tale Reimagined. Madeline Miller's The Song of Achilles is lyrical and emotionally potent retelling of the Greek myth of Achilles, told uniquely through the eyes of Patroclus. In this deluxe edition, Miller's prose is adorned with classical flourishes, supported by scholarly and reader-friendly features that enhance the epic's resonance for modern audiences. As both love story and war story, it explores timeless themes, honor, fate, identity, and the cost of glory. 2. Patroclus, the exiled boy prince. The story begins with Patroclus, an awkward and introspective young prince, the son of minor Greek king. He is unloved by his father and barely tolerated by his mother. After a tragic accident in which he kills another boy during competition, Patroclus is exiled to the court of King Peleus in Phthia, a land known for its honor and martial prowess. At Peleus's court, Patroclus is one among many foster boys, all expected to learn nobility and warlike discipline. It is here he encounters Achilles, the golden son of Peleus and the sea nymph Thetis. Achilles is everything Patroclus is not: radiant, self-assured, and possibly skilled in music, medicine, and combat. Yet, instead of ignoring or bullying him as others do, Achilles shows curiosity and kindness. 3. The bond between Achilles and Patroclus. Over time, Achilles and Patroclus form a bond that transcends ordinary friendship. They begin as quiet companions, sharing afternoons in the olive groves or evenings by the lyre. Underneath their growing closeness is deepening romantic and emotional intimacy. Eventually, their connection becomes an enduring and profound love, one that is secret, tender, and fraught with danger, especially as Achilles' divine mother, Thetis, disapproves of Patroclus and views their love as beneath her immortal son. To remove Achilles from the influence of others and refine his heroic education, Thetis sends him to be trained by Chiron, the wise and immortal son of Mount Pelion. Patroclus, surprisingly, is permitted to join. In Chiron's cave, they study medicine, poetry, warfare, and nature, growing into adulthood in an idyllic setting removed from the political tensions of the world below. But peace is fleeting. Or the spark of war, Helen's abduction. When Helen of Sparta is abducted by Paris of Troy, the Greek world erupts. The ancient oaths sworn by all her suitors to protect her marriage regardless of who she chose are invoked. Agamemnon, brother of Menelaus, calls all Greece's heroes to arms. This includes Odysseus, Diomedes, Ajax, and most importantly Achilles, prophesied to be the greatest warrior of the age. Achilles is torn. He desires immortality through fame and glory, knowing that joining the war at Troy will grant him eternal renown. But at mortal cost, Patroclus is haunted by the prophecy surrounding Achilles' fate. If he fights at Troy, he will die. Patroclus cannot let Achilles go alone. For love, he joins the war, placing their bond at the mercy of fate and history. If the Greek encampment in moral decline, the war does not unfold as gloriously as Homeric legend suggests. The Greek encampment festers with pride, ambition, and ego. Agamemnon, the arrogant high king, constantly clashes with Achilles when Achilles refuses to give Agamemnon the captive woman Briseis, whom Patroclus had grown close to. Agamemnon seizes her as spoil of war. In protest and pride, Achilles withdraws from battle, refusing to fight. His absence proves devastating. The Trojans, led by the valiant Hector, push back the Greeks. The camp descends into despair. As Greek heroes fall and morale crumbles, Patroclus, desperate to prevent more loss, makes fateful decision. 6. Patroclus' sacrifice. Patroclus dons Achilles' armor and rides into battle in his place, hoping to rally the troops and save lives. He is successful, but only temporarily. Mistaken for Achilles, Patroclus is eventually slain by Hector, setting into motion the wrath and vengeance of the true warrior. Achilles, inconsolable and consumed by grief, returns to the battlefield. His rage is elemental. He slaughters countless Trojans and kills Hector in brutal duel, desecrating his body in display of unrelenting fury. 7. Achilles is fallen, the tragedy of greatness. Achilles' doom, long foretold, approaches. Though he knows his death is imminent, he no longer fears it. He has lost the person who gave his life meaning. The prophecy fulfills itself. Paris, with divine assistance, shoots Achilles through the heel, his only vulnerable spot. Achilles dies, but his story does not end. 8. Patroclus' voice beyond death. In beautiful, melancholic shift, Patroclus' spirit narrates the aftermath. His ashes, unlike Achilles', are refused place in Achilles' tomb by Thetis. Trapped between worlds, Patroclus lingers, his ghost desperate to be reunited with Achilles even in death. What follows is poignant meditation on grief, remembrance, and the endurance of love beyond mortality. Eventually, Thetis, moved by the memory of her son's love, relents. Patroclus' name is etched beside Achilles', and their spirits are reunited. 9 themes and symbolism in the deluxe edition. The deluxe edition enhances the narrative with essays by Madeline Miller reflecting on the myth's reinterpretation and ETQ plus representation, map of Homeric Greece, grounding the story in ancient geography, guide to Greek gods and mortals, which helps readers navigate the divine-human dynamics, discussion questions, inviting reflection on loyalty, hubris, love, and fate. This edition elevates story beyond retelling. It becomes an interactive dialogue between past and present, reader and myth, history and human emotion. 10. Conclusion, an epic made intimate. The Song of Achilles is triumph of emotional storytelling within the mythological epic form. It reframes well-known war story into an intimate, personal tragedy that pulses with desire, anguish, and timeless love. In this deluxe edition, Miller's vision is brought to its fullest form, immortalizing not only Achilles' glory but Patroclus' humanity. Their story, once footnote in Homer, is now legend in its right. Book review. In literary landscape crowded with retellings, few novels reach the level of poetry, intimacy, and emotional resonance that Madeline Miller achieves in The Song of Achilles. With this deluxe edition, the novel receives the elegant physical presentation it deserves, complete with gold-foiled cover, sprayed and stenciled edges, map of Homeric Greece, guide to Greek gods and heroes, insightful essays by the author, and discussion questions. But beyond ornamental beauty lies story that reimagines one of the most iconic tales from Greek mythology and turns it into something achingly human, tenderly romantic, and devastatingly tragic. Originally published in 2011 and awarded the Orange Prize for Fiction, The Song of Achilles has steadily grown into beloved modern classic. This special edition from Green Mountain celebrates that legacy and invites both new readers and longtime fans to themselves once again in the mythic world of gods, war, and love. This time through the eyes of the one who loved Achilles most, Patroclus. A framed epic mythology with beating heart. Rather than recount the Trojan War through the eyes of Achilles, the half-divine hero fated for glory, Miller chooses an unexpected but profoundly effective narrator, Patroclus, relatively minor character in Homer's Iliad, who in the original text is more footnote than focal point. By centering Patroclus' voice, Miller transforms an epic of war into an intimate coming-of-age love story rooted in stakes and emotional growth. The novel begins not with the clang of swords or the thunder of hooves, but with the awkward, lonely childhood of Patroclus, young prince exiled for tragic accident, cast out and unloved. He is sent to the court of Peleus, father of the golden boy Achilles. From this moment, the emotional core of the novel takes shape, the growing bond between these two boys as they transform from strangers to companions to lovers. Their relationship, built slowly and carefully, infused with longing, tenderness, and eventual joy. It is a love story that burns with honesty and vulnerability, all the more moving because of the mythic tragedy looming over it. The crafted character, Achilles is both hero and human. Miller's Achilles is complex creation, brilliant, beautiful, and undeniably godlike, but also proud, stubborn, and deeply flawed. We see him not just as the peerless warrior foretold by the fates, but also a son yearning for his mother's approval, musician creating music for joy rather than renown, and most importantly, young man in love. Patroclus, by contrast, is not marked greatness by birth or prophecy. His quiet wisdom, empathy, and moral compass make him an ideal lens through which to view Achilles' world. It is Patroclus who allows us to see the emotional cost of divine expectations and martial glory, and it is through his eyes that we witness the slow unraveling of everything they hold dear. Miller's choice to tell the story in the first person from Patroclus' point of view allows for kind of psychological realism. Absent in myth, we feel the urgency of their decisions, the weight of their fears, and the searing pain of their losses. Even when the gods intervene or fate takes hold, the emotional responses remain recognizably human. Language is elegy, Miller's lyrical style. What truly elevates the Song of Achilles is Miller's prose, spare yet lyrical yet restrained. Every sentence feels deliberate, every image evocative. She draws from classical influences without falling into archaism, crafting style that feels both timeless and modern. There are passages that ache with beauty, especially in the quieter moments. Achilles playing the lyre under the stars, or Patroclus watching him train with other boys, is filled with awe and love. Even the novel's darker turns, moments of bloodshed, betrayal, or divine cruelty, are rendered with devastating simplicity that leaves the reader breathless. Miller, classicist by training, draws deeply from Homeric tradition while also resisting its limitations. Her Iliad is not one of martial glory but of personal stakes. War is not glorified but mourned. The true victory in this novel is not conquest but connection, and the truest loss is death but separation from the one you love. Love is defiance, queer classic. One of the most powerful aspects of the Song of Achilles is its recentering of queer love within the heroic tradition. Achilles and Patroclus' relationship is not coded, hidden, or merely suggested. It is explicit, affirmed, and vital. In doing so, Miller reclaims space of LGBTQ+ narratives and myths, showing that same-sex love is not deviation but an integral part of our oldest and most revered stories. Love is depicted not only as romantic but also deeply physical, emotional, and spiritual. It challenges the expectations of heroism, the demands of destiny, and the interference of the gods. Their bond becomes an act of quiet rebellion against the world around them, even as it is destined to break under the weight of prophecy. A tragedy in the afterlife, Patroclus' final voice. Perhaps the most heartbreaking and inventive element of the novel is its ending. After Patroclus' death at the hands of Hector, the narration continues. From beyond the grave, Miller masterfully sustains his voice in spectral form, allowing readers to remain with him as Achilles mourns, rages, and eventually dies himself. In mood both poignant and poetic, Patroclus' spirit remains unburied, trapped between worlds until Thetis, Achilles' cold immortal mother, recognizes the legitimacy and beauty of their love. Only then are their ashes joined and Patroclus finally finds rest. This resolution, where love outlasts death and is recognized even by the divine, serves as final transcendent act of justice. It offers not just closure but catharsis. What the deluxe edition adds. The deluxe edition of the Song of Achilles elevates the reader's experience through both form and function. The stenciled edges and gold foil reflect the mythic richness of the story within. The in-papers feature detailed map of Homeric Greece, helping readers visually contextualize the geography of the narrative. From Phia to Mount Pelion to Troy, included essays by Madeline Miller offer deeper insights into her creative process, inspirations, and the challenges of retelling such an iconic tale. Guide to the Gods, Mortals, and Heroes of the novel assists both new readers and mythology enthusiasts in navigating the complex cast. The discussion questions make this edition ideal for book clubs, classrooms, or reflective individual reading, encouraging deeper engagement with the themes of fate, agency, love, and identity. This edition is not only collector's piece, but pedagogue, tool, and love letter to readers who have found themselves within these ancient echoes. Final verdict: modern epic of heartbreak and grace. The Song of Achilles Deluxe Edition is triumph in both literary and physical form. Miller's reimagining of Achilles and Patroclus' bond transforms ancient myth into timeless meditation on love, sacrifice, and legacy. In culture that often favors spectacle over sincerity, this novel dares to tell quiet, romantic, and ultimately shattering story with clarity and compassion. The Deluxe Edition adds its beauty and intellectual depth, making it the definitive version for both first-time readers and devoted fans. Whether you're revisiting Troy through new eyes or discovering Patroclus' voice for the first time, this edition invites you to linger longer, feel deeper, and remember more. In the end, the Song of Achilles reminds us that the most heroic thing we can do is love, fully, freely, and against all odds.